something of that they can then find online. So inbound leads, right? We want inbound leads. Inbound leads have an 8 times greater likelihood of converting because that person already knows, in essence, that they have a challenge or a pain point, and they're going out there actively trying to discover more about it and find out the different solutions. So if you are sharing across social media and you're creating content that you're publishing across many channels, right? You're giving these buyers more avenues or ways in which they can actually come across your brand and your company. So content, right? Content is key to attracting visitors. With content, you obviously need to develop a curriculum. You need to understand who your buyers are and where they are in the different buying stages, right? And you have to create content that addresses their needs, right? So it's really important to understand that you need to write content based on a persona. So you may have 5 different personas in an organization. Well, you need to really understand, right? What is it that your business could solve for them? What is the challenge that they are coming to you with, right? And being able to create content, but content that's more of a leadership content, right? Where you're helping to educate them. You're not just trying to sell a product. Gone are the days of selling, right? It's all about kind of building a relationship, engaging, and helping to them to understand how they can do something better, and also being kind of that advisor for them. And also, obviously, with content, if you're not optimizing that content for search, well, who's going to find it? Then the other problem with content, too, is that content, it's resource intense. It takes time, it takes money, right? So if you're investing time and money into creating content, think about ways in which you can repurpose that content for different channels, right? So if you've invested time to create an ebook, don't just send it out in an email campaign, right? How can I publish that across many different channels? How can I do some content syndication? So start thinking about the ways in which I can repurpose that, right? You can also take that ebook and you can turn it into a 90-second video. You could turn it into an infographic. It can be a social campaign that drips out over a series of time. But start thinking about the ways in which you can leverage everything that you guys are writing and creating within the company. So writing for the audience. And so that's why I say it's very, very important, right? Because today it's about personalization. Nobody wants, mass, communication, right? The buyer expects you to speak directly to them, right? So at the end of the day, you really need to understand a lot about who that individual is, or in general, like the title or that industry, right? So that when you're talking to them, it's consultative. For instance, we sell into a CMO. We also can sell into a marketing manager, right? A CMO, when I'm trying to sell our technology, they want to know high level, right? How is this going to drive our business forward? How is it going to generate revenue for us? Whereas a marketing manager, that's not necessarily their pain point, and that's not why they would be using our technology. A marketing manager's message, right? They want to know, how is this going to, reduce the amount of time it typically takes me to do something, right? Or how is it going to help me get promoted? How is it going to make me look better to my boss, right? So understand that there's kind of those nuances and those differences in the messages when you're communicating. So content, right? Content's great, but you would need social media to share that content, right? And to get the eyeballs and to get the traffic. So with social media, I typically say that there's 3 key benefits with social media, right? So there's a thought leadership component, there's a lead component, and there's also a search component. So I'm going to kind of talk about a few of those. So search and social, right? Well, think about social media just as a search engine, just like you would in Google, right? People are searching for relative topics on there, just like they would go to Google. They're going to Facebook and they're looking for, content marketing or hashtag content marketing. They're doing the same thing on Twitter. They're doing the same thing on Google+, right? So think about that, right? So when you're creating content, have some very kind of inspiring or compelling posts that you share with it, and make sure that you're hashtagging or you're using keywords that tie back to what that content is, so that when prospective buyers are doing searches, your content or your posts are falling within those cues. Also, obviously, with social media ranks high. So if you type in a brand term, for instance, GE, well, look what appears on the front page. You have your Instagram, they have their Pinterest, and they have their Twitter profiles, right? So this is another opportunity, for you to increase your presence online. And a lot of, today, a lot of people, they they don't want to just go to the company's website. They want a different perspective of the brand, right? So if they go to social media, they can kind of understand a little bit more about the culture and the business, right? And what kind of style and maybe relationship they could have with the company. So social media, it gives them an opportunity to really kind of get a different view into the company. And I know, I'm always looking, I don't just go to a website, I'm looking at the company's social profiles too to get a sense of what the business is like. So understand that if somebody's doing a search for brand term, that social media profiles do pop up. So it's very important that you do have a presence online. And I'm not saying that you don't have to be on every social channel, but you want to be on the social channels that your audience or your buyers are using. Thought leadership, right? You want to use social media as a way to help build thought leadership for the company, right? So if your company's winning awards or accolades, or you're mentioned in analyst reports, this is a great opportunity to create a campaign and share it across those channels. So it's a way to kind of reinforce the message and then share it to the mass. So here to the left, we create some campaigns. Does anybody use Canva in here? Has anybody heard of Canva? So it gives everybody the ability to be a kind of a graphic designer, but it's all done kind of with little widgets and drag and drop functions. For like $1, you can create a really nice, multimedia asset. And with social media, you'll typically see engagement increase about 30% if you have some sort of image or video that's tied to that post. So if you guys don't use Canva, you might want to take a look at it. It's a great tool. And then just over here, if you have a product launch, right? Well, use social media to help kind of share that and to promote the launch around that product. Lead generation. Well, social media is another ad channel, right? You can do organic ads and you can do paid ads. And, typically you want to combine the two, right? So on the left right here, we have an ebook, right? So we share that across our social channels from an organic standpoint. And there's obviously a call to action there. So with lead generation, what we do typically is there's the main call to action right up front. So that call to action, right, is going to drive them to either a landing page or a form where we hopefully can capture their information, and then they'll receive the asset. Or you can do paid ads. We have a survey that we run here. This survey typically generates on social media about 500 leads a quarter for us. But it's an opportunity for marketers to understand how they stack up, right? So they take the survey, and then at the end, they'll receive kind of an infographic that shows where they stack up based on the other marketers. So yeah, just start thinking about social media, in different forms, right? There's thought leadership components and there's lead generation components, and it will all help to kind of build that brand and help your business get found online. Secondly, capture, right? So now we've generated awareness. We have people that are coming to your social media profiles. They're clicking on the links, right? So how do I then capture that information and I can then market to them? So capturing visitors, right? Your homepage should be one of your biggest lead drivers, right? But the problem is there's a lot of different, places to kind of go and navigate on your site. But you want to make sure that you have some call to actions up front, right? There's something that the visitors can actually kind of easily see and get to and obtain something. So down here, right, we have options of you can take a tour, so you can get a demo, or you can have an SEO audit of your website, or you can take the survey, right? And we've actually built out our call to actions based on where an individual may be in their buying journey, right? So we understand that somebody that may click on that survey, they're probably very top of the funnel. They maybe are just now starting out the process of looking at marketing technologies, but don't really even know what marketing automation is. Whereas somebody that may click on the SEO audit and take that, they're more middle of the funnel. They already understand that there's a problem or a challenge or something that they need to address. And then on a demo, somebody that's taking the time to click on that demo and watch the demo, they're probably bottom of the funnel. They're probably looking at other solutions right now, and you may be one of those, right? So it's almost like we've created these different call to actions based on where somebody may be in their journey, and it's like they're self-selecting without even knowing. And then we can use that information to better nurture them. So creating killer call to action, right? Well, at the end of the day, it's all about a call to action. You have to give that individual a call to action. They click on that. That's, if it's a compelling enough offer, they're then going to give you their contact information. 56% of advanced B2B marketers say that content-based offers are their top performing. And when I say content-based, that's like an ebook or a white paper or a webinar. So it's not 50% off or, buy one, get one free. The B2B audience, they want to consume information. They want to learn. And they want to make sure that when they're making a purchasing decision, that it's the right decision.